To be honest, Cole, I got to tell you, I'm disappointed. If I'm honest, that's what I am, is disappointed. You know, I wanted this fight with Seth Rollins. I wanted it really badly. I'm in the best shape of my life. I wanted to be able to teach Seth Rollins a lesson. But unfortunately, Seth Rollins, for the second year in a row, isn't going to be able to make it to WrestleMania. And the unfortunate part is I heard you say that somehow that was partially my fault that Seth wouldn't make it to WrestleMania. And I got to tell you, I don't see that as my fault at all. There's one person responsible for that, and that is Seth Rollins. Because somewhere along the way, Seth Rollins made the biggest mistake of his life when he stopped listening to me and he started listening to them.
If you had the opportunity to, would you have done anything different?
Now, here's the thing, Cole. The first time I saw Seth Rollins in a ring, I thought this kid is the future. So I took him under my wing. I helped him. I showed him the way. You know, they want to call Seth Rollins the architect. You're looking at the guy that gave him the blueprint. The blueprint of how to make it in this business. I gave that to Seth Rollins. And then what happens? Just like all these little millennials sitting here right now, running their mouths and cheering for Seth Rollins, when it came right down to it and Seth Rollins got knocked down and there was no one there to pick him up, he just whined about it and he cried. And the fact is now, Seth Rollins, for the second year in a row, is not going to make WrestleMania, and he probably might never come back again. So the fact is, at this moment right now, I am officially done with Seth Rollins. Oh, hold on. I don't want any of you to think I am heartless. So if you could give this to Seth when you see him, I pull a couple of comp tickets for WrestleMania. It'll be good. He'll be able to hear the roar of the crowd. Tell him I said thanks for coming.
Well, thank you, Hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Raw continues tonight live from...
Whoa, hold on a second. I just thought of something. Give me that back. What if there was a way that I could make it so that Seth Rollins and I could fight at WrestleMania? So if I draw up a hold harmless agreement and Seth Rollins shows up here next week and he signs that document for a non-sanctioned match, that means that when I cripple Seth Rollins, that he can't sue me. He can't sue my wife. He can't sue the WWE. Nothing. If they want it. And that's what you want, right? You want your hero to come back? Then Seth Rollins show up here next week. I'll draw up the paperwork, sign the document, and it will be at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins versus Triple H. It will be the architect versus the game. Is that what you want? Let me hear you. I said, is that what you want? Then show them, Seth. Show them who you are. Show them that you are Seth freaking Rollins. Show them. Or are you just a friggin' coward?
What's up? And welcome in to another edition of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. This is going to be episode 47, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, 47 episodes. The countdown to episode 50 continues. I got a nice little treat for you guys. We're dropping 2 editions of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast this week. I'm going to do my stuff today, recording this bad boy on the Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the current events going into WrestleMania 33 and etc. And then on Saturday, I am going to do a WrestleMania type of retrospective podcast where I go over some of my favorite moments and matches in WrestleMania history. I get to talk about some of the experiences I've had of going to WrestleManias as part of the media, and just talk about how WrestleMania is such a big part of the whole WWE landscape. So I'm already set and ready to go for Mania. I got my plans ready. I know what I'm going to do. Got my hotel and travel and all that. Not extravagant, but stuff out of the way. I'm in a really good mood, man. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are ready to indulge and take part in this particular podcast. We're going to have a lot of fun. The power of positivity will be brought through this podcast, even though I have to point out a couple NIMRODS this week, but there's going to be a lot of good aspects to the show. I'm going to preview tonight's SmackDown Live, and I'm going to explain to you why this is going to be the go-home show for the Blue brand, even though I hate that term, go-home show. This is going to be the last full-out promotion for the SmackDown Live brand matches at WrestleMania. Tonight on the USA Network, I'll be covering the show for WrestleZone.com, and I'll tell you what's going to happen on the show tonight. Also, talk about my thoughts on Raw last night from Brooklyn. I got a rant on a couple NIMRODs, and also I got a nice little treat for you guys this week. I'm going to be airing the first episode of Southpaw Regional Wrestling for you guys. As always, these audio clips you hear on these podcasts are owned by the WWE, Impact Wrestling, a bevy of different promotions. These podcasts are not exclusive property of yours truly. These podcast clips and audio clips are used to enhance the presentation of this podcast and nothing more. I'm not looking for money out of this. I'm just doing it to provide a different form of a podcast that you can't get anywhere else. I love doing this thing, and I'm truly trying my best to better myself as a broadcaster each time I'm doing a podcast like this every single week. Or for example, I'll be back on the Pipe Bomb this week on the New Age Insiders Network, and I'm ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. So just a couple of little things I want to get off my chest as far as plugs are concerned. You can follow me on Twitter at Notorious Joshie if you like. That's JOSHIE, not JOSHY. Also, make sure to like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. I got the links to all the previous editions of this particular podcast on the Facebook page as well. And also you can get all the editions of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. That's youtube.com. Go in the search engine, type in Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, and you'll find a playlist there. I have all past 45 episodes of this podcast, and, it's kind of sucks that I can't upload every single episode on iTunes. It's just something stupid with the storage restrictions, and some places force you to pay a monthly fee in order to get the podcast on there due to the RSS feed and all this other crap. But you know what? If you want to get every single edition of this podcast and you're a long, loyal supporter of this show, it means a lot to me. Just go to youtube.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get every edition of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast as they come out. And it's interesting. I was looking at my YouTube channel the other night, and it's kind of crazy going through the list of interviews I've done in the past when I was doing the old Pro Wrestling Experience show for like JR to Jeff Jarrett to Ken Shamrock. The list goes on and on and on. New WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, Diamond Dallas Page. I've been very fortunate to interview a lot of these guys when I was back doing my old radio format, and it keeps me motivated. It keeps me motivated, and I don't know, maybe sooner or later we'll do some more interview stuff on this podcast. I remember I did have my good brother Brian Shields, the author of the great 30 Years of WrestleMania book, on the show a few months ago. I think you guys remember that interview. And yeah, you know, it's gonna be very interesting what the future holds for this particular podcast. One thing is for certain, though. Nothing about yours truly is going to change, and that is a shoot. So anyways, I want to move on here really quick. Again, this plugs, like I said, follow me on Twitter. You get all my information there, Notorious Joshi. And if you want to get all the previous editions of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, just go to youtube.com, type in Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, and you'll find a playlist right there. All right, I want to start this thing off with a bang. I told you guys I was going to do this for you guys. This is for you being the loyal supporter of the show. And you know what? I had to do it this week because, you know, I appreciate good humor, and I appreciate good comedy, and I appreciate good trolling comedy at the same time. And I got to give it up to Brian Pellegrino and the crew from WWE.com that put on this great series called Southpaw Regional Wrestling, which is kind of a satirical look at the 80s landscape of independent wrestling outside of the WWF. And from the characters from John Cena being Lance Caterman, we had Tex Ferguson as Luke Gallows, we had Chad Too Bad as Carl Anderson, Rusev was Mr. Bartholomew, and Lana was still even had her little tractor gear on. Her name was Christian Joy. Chris Jericho was a backstage interviewer. TJ Perkins was the world champion. Just a lot of funny stuff. I'm going to play you episode 1 here. I don't think we're going to be allowed to do this every single week, but from me to you, I want to actually play episode 1 of the Southpaw Regional Wrestling for you guys. And I'm going to do it right now. Just to give you a little sample of what's going on. You can go to the WWE YouTube channel and get all the other episodes. So for a gift for me to you guys, for you being the loyal supporter of this particular podcast, we're going to play that. And then when I come back, we'll start previewing SmackDown Live. And also, after this clip, you'll be hearing the promo that Bray Wyatt had with Randy Orton from last week's SmackDown Live. So sit back, get ready for some good comedy, because this is episode 1 of Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Enjoy.
Tex Ferguson, and I came here to Southpaw Regional Wrestling with my friend, my compadre, mi amigo, mi hermano, Chad Too Bad. I bought me this dandy here with a 350 under the hood. He's jealous of that. I got these blue tights. He's jealous of them. His cowboy boots are made of smooth cow leather, and mine were cut from the belly of a baby crocodile. He's jealous of that. You're going to be even more jealous when you're counting the lights, cowboy. That's it.
The action never stops, and Chet Cheddarfield never sleeps. Here at Southpaw Regional Wrestling. What a week it's been. so much to talk about, and so many things we can't talk about. Like the time I used to pay common people to demean me and tell me I was bad at reading the news when I had that job up in Utica. Well, we have an interview, and like I said, lots to talk, and certainly when I think of the word exciting, I know who I think of, and you do too. Right now, we are going to get some exciting, charismatic words from our champion, the Southpaw Regional Wrestling Champion, John Johnson. John?
This was left in the locker room in Duluth. I just thought you might like to know that.
The championship title left in the locker room. John Johnson, the champion here in Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Almost a coronation once again. Never want to leave your championship title in the locker room, John. It's kind of a little bit of a cardinal sin. Thanks to Chip Henderson for bringing it back. The big 12-man battle royal for this man's belt will be taking place at Lethal Leap Year. I'm pulling for you, John. Are you enjoying it here as the champion of Southpaw Regional Wrestling?
I am, Clint. I am.
No need to hold the microphone, John. We're going to see you tomorrow night in Hogsburg. People cheering for you. Damn it, tell them what you're going to give them tomorrow night. John Johnson, I think you should be jumping as well.
It's just John. And I'm ready for a fight.
You're going to get a fight soon enough, John.
Riveting. Hanging on every single word of our young, charismatic champion, John Johnson. We do. We can. Should we go now? Yes, we should. It appears as if John still has some things to say. I can only imagine what they are. And right now, we have our infield correspondent, Clint Bobsky. We will go down to Clint and the remainder of his interview with John Johnson. Clint.
I always hold the mic, you understand? There's no reason for you to grab the mic, okay? You might want to have a little bit more charisma. This is the wrestling business, okay? Come on, my friend. That's $500 to get that made here.
Come on, that's a nice little talk. Come on.
I don't know about this kid. I don't know if he's got what it takes.
Hey, Clint, easy, buddy. We know that your uncle owns the station, and that's the reason you have a job, but certain professional conduct is necessary for Southpaw Regional. Isn't that right, Chip?
Clint is a piece of shit.
Anyway, back to the action. We have so much to talk about, but here, with some words for Big Tex, are his so-called friend, Chad. Too bad.
You are finally about to feel the wrath of Chad Too Bad. Friends, brothers, amigos, like you say. You ain't my brother. You ain't my friend. All the mean things you said, all the times you stole girls from me on the road, all the times you bought brand new cars and made fun of me for not being able to afford it. Well, I'm still the best looking guy in all of Southpaw Regional Wrestling. And so you think you're all cool because you bought yourself a car. Well, I bought myself a green jacket that I know you can't afford. And guess what, Tex? Guess what? You got some bad news coming your way.
This is WMOB Mobile, 12 on your channel dial and 12 in the TV ratings.
Southpaw fans, a limited amount of Southpaw stars will be appearing at KFC to get their hands on the new Woo Crispy, Woo Tangy, Woo Honey Mustard barbecue flavor of Georgia Gold chicken, Woo, for our Eat with the Wrestlers event. Come down and tell them that Nature Boy sent you.
Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Hey, watch out now because we got T-shirts coming for you. Everybody in the small towns we're coming to, watch out. Southpaw Regional Wrestling T-shirts, $10. All right, y'all, watch out. It's called karate, and you know what I'm saying right now. If you want to learn it, buy a shirt, and the king will teach you. You know what I'm saying?
Dial Klondike 53226 for your Southpaw Regional Wrestling T-shirt. Warning, may cause ringworm.
For a clinically depressed Chet Cheddarfield, I am always Lance Catamaran. A good night.
You thought you burned the soul of Sister Abigail, Randy. And so did I. And I should have known better. Sister Abigail is the spawn of Satan. She was forged in hell itself. And she still beats in the black hearts of all her apostles. Now she has bestowed her power upon me. Now I am the Lord of Lords, with no boundaries, the all-powerful, the all-seeing, the all-knowing. I am omniscient. It is my duty to purge all of the infidels in this life. I'll start with you. I have consumed all of her wickedness. She lives through me now, eternally. I'm born again, Randy. In her ashes, I baptize myself. Follow the buzzards.
Talk about going from one extreme to the next. Mamma mia. Again, that was awesome. Southpaw Regional Wrestling. You go from one extreme from the comedy sense to just eerie and spookiness to the next. Oh, man. I don't know about you guys, but besides the Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho lead up for Raw's brand, the Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt program's been my favorite WWE program so far leading up to WrestleMania this year. And I had a good conversation about this with my good brother Carter, Derek Stout, which you can follow him on Twitter at Derrico06 on Twitter. The Obsolete Mule. The Obsolete Mule. That's what he is. He is an obsolete mule. Anyways, we were talking about this yesterday at his Universal Chatter show, and I was like, you know what? Everybody talks about what's the one WrestleMania match you're looking forward to the most. And originally I was like, you know what? And I do. There's a certain part of me that does agree with this. I'm excited for the entire show, to be honest with you. You guys know that. For those that listened to last week's show, I explained about why I'm excited about this year's WrestleMania. I did a little thing for the Pie Bound last week since I was able to be on the show. I answered the 3-count questions, and one of the questions was like, what match are you most looking forward to at WrestleMania? Which match are you least looking forward to? And I explained the reason why I was looking forward to the entire show, because this is the first WrestleMania in a long time that the majority of the programs of this particular Mania have had intertwining, I don't know, characteristics or elements leading back to the last fall. Just about every single feud has had a long-term build to it. You had Brock and Goldberg going back to November. Triple H and Seth Rollins last August. Same thing with Owens and Jericho. Their friendship started in August at SummerSlam. You had Mickie James coming back, and the whole thing with the SmackDown Live Women's Division since December. The Miz, Maurice, John Cena, Nikki stuff, while you may think that started a month ago, really it's been brewing since in November or September when Miz was going after Daniel Bryan. I think this is the whole John Cena thing is basically him stepping in Daniel's honor and Nikki doing the same thing against the evil Miz and Maurice. Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, that's been going on since September. American Alpha Usos, same thing. Like literally the only two feuds so far that have had like little build, even though I'm looking forward to the matches, is Corbin and Ambrose and Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. I mean, hell, the tag team division for Raw has been feuding with each other since the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, I'm very excited for this year's WrestleMania, but going back to here with SmackDown, I'm very, very interested for Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. It may be the one match I'm looking forward to the most, but whether it's the last match of the show or not, it's not the end-all be-all for me. It's not my hill to die on. I'm just saying this. I got to give credit to both Bray and Randy. They've been doing a phenomenal job with this feud. Shout out to whoever's producing their segments and the creative team for the SmackDown brand, because they've been doing a lot of good stuff. And obviously, this is all about the spooky stuff and Randy Orton burning down Bray Wyatt's house and trying to sacrifice Sister Abigail. But this is the match that has the WWE title involved with it. And for those hardcore fans that whine that they never get what they want, I think you need to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself how you feel about Bray Wyatt going into WrestleMania this year as a WWE champion. Bray Wyatt is having a WWE title shot. Not title shot, but he's defending his WWE title at WrestleMania this year. Think about that. I get it. We got Goldberg and Brock. I get it. Undertaker's back. I get it. Triple H is fighting Seth Rollins. But think about this. Besides Goldberg and Brock, every particular feud features guys that are current stars or guys that are on their way out. Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, admittedly so, at times can be a part-timer, but he's been more of a full-time for the past year and a half. John Cena's on his way out. He does a lot of movies now. He's fighting Miz, who's a current guy. Roman Reigns is a current guy, but he's fighting The Undertaker. That's a part-time guy. And honestly, I never really considered Triple H a part-time guy. He is when it comes to the ring, but he's on television more than most of the part-timers that are out there. So I don't really consider that a part-time for this current guy. Anyway, the point is, one of the marquee matches, and they advertised on SmackDown as the main event of WrestleMania, so I got to take it as it is. I mean, hey, Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble, so he is going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Think about this. Bray Wyatt has the possibility to close out this year's WrestleMania as the champion defending his title in the main event of WrestleMania. Think about that. Bray Wyatt can have the opportunity to have the last match of this year's WrestleMania as the WWE champion. Ask yourself 5 months ago if you thought that was going to happen, since the WWE doesn't give the hardcore fans what they want. Think about that. I think that's something really special, actually. And you know, we get so caught up about the part-time versus current guy thing and, the Roman Reigns fiasco that never goes away and all this other irrelevant nonsense that's not even true on the surface, because we don't need to go into the whole Roman Reigns thing, but if you look at the cards, like literally the whole match cards for WrestleManias over the past couple years. I get it, Brock comes around. I get it, Taker's in these matches. But the other 60 to 70% of the whole show is surrounded and centered around the current guys. And it's nothing's different about that this year. Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair stole last year's WrestleMania. A women's title match with 3 current performers stole the show at a WrestleMania that had Brock Lesnar featured as a marquee guy, Undertaker versus Shane, and Triple H and Roman Reigns. Think about that. And I hear the argument all the time. Oh my God, the part-timers always win. They're always here to take spots for the younger guys and this and that. I said this stat a couple weeks ago. The last part-timer to win the last match of a WrestleMania was The Rock in 2012. And that wasn't even a title match. That was just him and Cena just straight up. We've had John Cena as the current guy win at 29. Daniel Bryan win at 30. Seth Rollins doing the cash-in. Another current guy, by the way. Cashing at 31, which I was at. 32 last year. Roman Reigns beat Triple H for the World Championship. And then this year, we could have the possibility of Bray Wyatt closing out WrestleMania as a champion. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm still kind of 50-50 as to who will win that match between Bray and Randy Orton. All I'm saying is, folks, I'm pumped for this match. I really am. The story has been great. I'm totally invested to it. There's nothing else that needs to be sold in regards to this particular match. I'm sure Bray and Randy will brawl tonight. And I wanted to make this point very clear because I talked about it at the beginning of the show. I have the feeling that tonight is going to be the legit go-home show for the SmackDown brand before WrestleMania. Because usually WrestleMania week, they don't go all out for the SmackDown shows. I get it that the brand split is back. Unless they're going all out this tonight and they advertise a bunch of shit for next week, I don't see it happening. I really think tonight is the actual final push for the blue brand matches at WrestleMania, and I have no problem with that. I really don't, because a lot of people are going to go into next week. They're going to watch the go-home show of Raw for Philly, and they're like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's get to Mania. Let's get to Mania. And I have no problem with that. Hell, I would not be surprised if they tape SmackDown and 205 Live before Raw next week in Philly. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't. And I wouldn't have a problem with it either. But we'll see what happens. I don't know where 205 Live or SmackDown is going to be next week anyway. So that remains to be seen. Other things on the show that I wanted to talk about. Yes, John Cena and The Miz. I would like to hear John Cena speak a little bit more, actually. I'd like to get his side of the stories. Miz has been killing it recently on his promos with Maurice. I thought Maurice was absolutely phenomenal in her role last week. And, man, Miz is a lucky bastard, man. That girl is one of a kind, man. You know your life is good when you have good money and you got a sexy chick like that, especially a French-Canadian chick like that. Oh, my God, man. But anyways, I like to hear a little bit more about I like to hear a little bit more from Cena this week. I don't know if he's gonna have a match tonight or not, but I would like to see Cena talk a little bit more because we've been getting more of the feud brewing between Nikki and Maurice, and Cena's been kind of like, you know, jumping around like a Barney on crack. He jumps around like a little kid. He's not taking Miz seriously. I want to see Cena get pissed off. I want to see him snap. I want to see him defend himself. I don't need to hear the passive aggressive shots that he does in most of these feuds and promos. I want to hear how he real feels about people's perception of him. Give us a reason to say otherwise, John. That's something what I want to hear. I want to hear how he feels about the perception that is about him. Not what Shawn Michaels told him 10 years ago to not worry about what other people think about you, or if you're getting the loudest reaction of the show, then yeah, blah, 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 blah. I want to hear how he feels. Because John Cena always delivers in that department. You know, you always get the John Cena feud. You get invested when he really shows his passion for what he wants to do and why he's going to go after his opponent at WrestleMania. It's been done year after year after year. He did it with that great feud with Bray Wyatt. He did it with The Rock. He did it with Triple H. He's done it before, guys, and I think we'll see that fire that we usually get from John Cena at WrestleMania time tonight. So I hope I get to see that tonight. As far as other stuff in the show, I know they announced that they're going to have American Alpha defend their SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships against the Usos due to the Usos beating them last week. Which was a good match. It was kind of unfortunate that they got kind of put on the back burner because of the whole AJ Shane thing, and USA Network's like, you know what, we'll give you extended runtime on Raw, but we won't do it for SmackDown. I don't get that. They cut him off. They cut the show off when Shane was like, hey, AJ, you want a match? You got one now. And then they just like, boom, oh, here we go. Here's the next show. That's not a WWE, man. That's on USA Network. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Anyways, I was going to say, I'm looking forward to this American Alpha Uso match. I don't know if it'll have a clean finish or not, but I would expect these two teams to fight at WrestleMania, and they should. Whether it's on the pre-show or not, it really doesn't matter to me. I think American Alpha and the Usos do deserve a platform like WrestleMania to actually have a really good match. And I expect them to feud a little bit more after WrestleMania, to be honest with you. The Usos have been killing it, man. And I hope that they get the opportunity to fight American Alpha for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe they win tonight. You never know. But we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to see what they do in that match. It's always good to get good in-ring action. I want to see a little bit more from this Corbin Ambrose stuff. I know they've been fighting and brawling out in the backstage area and stuff. I want to see Corbin in a match. I want to see Ambrose in a match. Who knows? Maybe you have somewhere where you have Corbin and Miz against Cena and Ambrose, right? The tag team match like that. Baron Corbin, Miz, Cena, Ambrose, something like that. That'd be cool. I'm pretty sure tonight we're also going to get some stuff for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which is fine. I mean, I get it. They want to get everybody in the show, so hey, drop them in the Battle Royal, man. They need more entries. They can use as much bodies as humanly possible for that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I don't know about you guys, but I think it'd be better to have the Battle Royal on the pre-show, right? That's how I feel, at least. Get a picture if they put the Battle Royal on WrestleMania 31. Yikes. Anyways, tonight for the women, I'm very interested about this because I want to see what Alexa Bliss does. They had this whole melee of women on Talk to Smack last week. You're like, oh, you're not this, you're not that. And Natalia's like, she's the greatest of all time. And Daniel Bryan's head looked like he was about to explode because he had so much women yelling at each other. Of course, you got the lovely and sexy Mickie James in the equation. But we have 5 women already confirmed for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. Carmella's new entrant due to what happened last week. She did super kicks to Becky Lynch and Natalya. I expect Carmella to fight Becky Lynch tonight. I can see that happening tonight, so be on the lookout for that. Carmella will probably fight Becky Lynch tonight. And before I finish off my thoughts on SmackDown, let's talk about the AJ and Shane stuff that happened last week. This is going to be the one part of the show that I am going to rant that doesn't involve NIMRODS from the crowd. This involves NIMRODS on social media now. I saw this whole thread throughout the weekend about the fans bitching and moaning about the fact that there was a GoPro camera in the car that Shane McMahon's head was drove through during the brawl in the backstage area with AJ Styles. Hey, NIMRODS, Are you crying like a little bunch of bitches when Logan throws somebody through a freaking car door or something during the Logan movie? This is entertainment. I get it. We're talking about professional wrestling and it's a live event theater type of thing, but it's still entertainment. This is not real life, ladies and gentlemen. I saw King Kong over the weekend. Am I upset that they had cameras in the helicopters when Kong threw the freaking tree at them? No. That's part of the act. It's entertainment. Let's use other movies from the past, for example. Let's talk about, let's see. As we're talking about realistic movies and stuff. All right, for example, how about Ride Along? The movie with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, right? You know, they're driving. Ice Cube is kind of like the police guy, and Kevin Hart's trying to get his respect and stuff. Dude, they have GoPro cameras in their stuff, too. They got GoPro cameras in every action movie you see. It's entertainment. I get it, we're talking about wrestling, but is that really something to bitch about? A GoPro camera in a car that was going to be smashed either way? It's for dramatic effect. It's entertainment. I don't go to movies to bitch about that type of stuff. I don't get... you guys need to get your freaking priorities straight. Is that something to really cry about? A GoPro camera was shown during a brawl with AJ Styles and Shane McMahon? Like, really? I get it. Wrestling's supposed to be about suspending disbelief. But... and I can't suspend disbelief in movies when they do stuff like that. They have GoPro cameras and whatever person's going to be tossed through that. Hey, am I supposed to suspend my disbelief when John Wick is whooping everybody's ass in a freaking motel and they got gazillion cameras to get different camera shots? I mean, come on, guys. Like, really, you need to pick your battles for something that's worth complaining about. That's just absolutely ridiculous. That's kind of like, you know, you don't like a particular thing, so you're going to find the littlest thing to bitch about when something's good is actually going on in that particular situation. It's the Roman Reigns thing. The guy can have the greatest match in the world and doesn't win the match, but... you, the Roman Reigns hater, is still pissed off because he didn't put over the wrestler clean. Like, for example, the Royal Rumble. No, you know what? Actually, let's scrap that. Let's do Roadblock last year. Kevin Owens beats Roman Reigns last year at Roadblock. Oh, it wasn't good enough for the Roman haters because, he didn't put him over clean. Jesus Christ, man. I love talking about wrestling, but sometimes looking at the stuff that people complain about is really head-scratching because it's stupid. This is the most illogical form of entertainment. You guys try to make it something that it's not. It's not a sport. It's not real life. What they do in the ring is real life, but when in regards to the stuff they do for entertainment purposes, it's entertainment. It's a variety show. I've been watching freaking wrestling since 1998. Was I supposed to be pissed off that they got a GoPro camera during the Katie Vick angle? Was I supposed to be pissed off that they had GoPro cameras when freaking The Rock tossed Stone Cold Steve Austin's belt into freaking lake? Was I supposed to suspend my disbelief when freaking Undertaker was burning somebody's house down? Like, come on, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, God. That's only the beginning because we got more NIMRODS to point out soon. AJ Styles and Shane McMahon looks to be set for WrestleMania. Look, like I said, it would have been my first choice to have Shane fight AJ Styles in WrestleMania, but it is what it is. It's very interesting. I was talking about this with Brett Carter yesterday. Over the years, obviously we had Shane and Vince in a bunch of different matches, but with the exception of X-Pac at WrestleMania 15, these are the following superstars that fought McMahon's, solely McMahon's, not Triple H, the only people that fought actual McMahon's at WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels. Think about that. Undertaker, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Hulk Hogan have fought McMahon's at WrestleMania. If that's not a big testament that the company likes AJ Styles, I don't know what does. Because I'm not saying AJ Styles should be on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. I like the guy. I think he's an all-time great performer, but I don't think he's the greatest of all time. But still, to be in the same class of a Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart to fight a McMahon in wrestling, that's a big deal. That is a very, very big deal. And I don't think that's something to scoff at, to be honest with you. You know, it's very interesting. I saw Vince McMahon at 60 years old have one of the best matches at WrestleMania 22 when I was at WrestleMania 22 in Chicago. I was like 12 years old at the time. Was Shawn Michaels being wasted for Vince at WrestleMania 22? Oh, good God, man. I'm looking forward to this match. I think they're going to prove a lot of people wrong. And you can't tell me that an AJ Styles match is not going to be entertaining. I mean, come on. Let's be realistic. So, tonight I think they're going to go full out for the final push for the blue brand matches at WrestleMania unless they advertise anything for next week. We'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to SmackDown Live tonight. I'll be covering it, as always, for the Zone of Wrestle, and you guys check out that article, and I truly appreciate your support. I'm going to take a little break here. Not a break here, but we're going to toss into a clip of a nice video package they did last night for Monday Night Raw for the Goldberg-Brock Lesnar feud. I thought it was a very smart choice to keep both guys off the show on last night's edition. You didn't need them there, and I thought it was a good choice to keep them off, and they decided to do good video packages for both guys leading up to their final confrontation and the final Raw before WrestleMania on Monday from Philly. So sit back, listen to this video package, and we're going to be right back and talk about last night's Monday Night Raw from Brooklyn. I got a rant on some NIMRODS, and we're going to get the flock out of here. Enjoy this clip.
Goldberg was lightning in a bottle.
You know, he had that unbelievable look.
Here comes this dude that cannot be stopped and looks the part. Huge, massive traps, goatee, looks like a tough guy, and is a tough guy.
Who's next?
Who can stop him?
The magnetism, the power.
Bill would come out, he'd breathe fire, he'd step into the ring, he'd spear you, he'd jackhammer you, and the crowd was going nuts.
You could just feel his adrenaline.
Bill Goldberg remains unbeaten. 56-0. 77 triple digits.
The first undefeated man in the history of this sport to ever win the world championship.
It just happened, and we fed the people. We just gave them what they wanted to see. And I was on cloud nine. It was awesome. I have a 10-year-old son and a wife that neither one have ever seen me perform before. This is such a huge part of my life. While I am still able to get to that ring, I think that I think I could do it one more time.
Fans all over the world buzzing about the video game and you being in it. Could there be an in-ring return for Goldberg as well?
You know, I've been preparing to answer that question for 12 years. I would be remiss in saying that I don't owe Brock Lesnar a rematch. I was able to have my hand raised at the first meeting, and I think if I ever came back, I mean, that'd be the match.
Here's the one thing that unhinges my beast. Goldberg is still one up on Brock Lesnar.
Jackhammer! And Goldberg beats Lesnar!
You, sir, are hereby challenged.
Maybe I have one more ass-kicking left in me.
1-on-1.
I have one badass spear left in me.
Icon versus icon.
I have one last jackhammer in me.
Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg.
I know it's a feel-good story, the return of Goldberg, the icon, but how on earth can anyone bet against the beast?
Goldberg dropping Lesnar. Goldberg was unfazed. And a spear. Brock's in trouble. Goldberg again with a spear. A jackhammer to Lesnar. Oh my God! Goldberg beat Brock. A monumental upset. After 12 years, Goldberg returns to the ring and absolutely destroys the beast.
Brock, how do you deal with a loss like the one you suffered at Survivor Series?
I got some good breaking news. It was interesting. Just hear the Goldberg clip, and you got all this WCW thoughts running through your head. I got some interesting news while you guys are listening to that clip. Eric Bischoff will be inducting Diamond Dallas Page into the WWE Hall of Fame, man. Oh, God, that's awesome, man. This Hall of Fame class is stacking. Now we got the induction speeches now. We got APA inducting Teddy Long. We got John Cena inducting Kurt Angle. Jim Cornette is inducting the Rock and Roll Express, the Express that Rock and Rolls. You also have Eric Bischoff now inducting Diamond Dallas Page, man. It's interesting. And can't forget, we got Ricky Steamboat inducting Rick Rude this year, too. That's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know who's inducting Beth Phoenix yet. I think that'll probably be Edge. Probably. I'm sure they'll announce it by next week or whatever. But anyways, I think it's really cool, man. I'm really excited for this Hall of Fame class. I'm going to be going there next week, next Friday, with the good brother Justin Hill that I do the sports draft with. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. I am Justin Hill. All right, really quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on Raw because I got some other stuff I got to do. So we're going to cut the podcast a little short this week because we got another podcast that we're going to do later on Saturday. Look, any Nimrods that go to the show that chant, "We are awesome," no, you're not awesome. I almost threw the remote at my TV last night hearing that crap. We are awesome. No, you're not awesome. You're jackasses. How about that? Let me just say this, and I don't care what anybody says. I think the Brooklyn crowd is the most overrated wrestling crowd in all of the United States. I get it. It's the whole East Coast. We think we're tough and all this other nonsense. No, you're not tough. You buy into the hysteria that you're tough, but you're not really tough at the end of the day. Trust me on that. You are not tough. You guys are a bunch of phonies, a bunch of ignorant, miserable jackasses who go to these shows and try to hijack it. And I don't know why the hell did WWE decide to do 3 SummerSlams in a row in that freaking dump known as the Barclays Center. Jackasses. Yeah, we're gonna go to the Barclay year after year and get our product shit on every single SummerSlam. Yeah, that's a good business decision. I hate the Brooklyn crowd with a freaking passion, man. And I don't like to speak the word hate a lot because it's not hating like I wish they died or anything like that. That's not the case. I just get really, really effing annoyed with the Brooklyn crowd. How about that? I get really annoyed with their over-the-top attitude and their freaking condescending ways, and then they're just freaking Nimrods. That's what they are. Brooklyn crowds, New York crowds. I don't care if it's Madison Square Garden or the freaking Barclays Center. They're freaking NIMRODS. Freaking jackasses. I don't know. I'm starting to get a headache for this, but Raw was okay last night. I didn't think it was great or anything like that. Roman Reigns speared The Undertaker last night to close out the show. It was kind of interesting. I thought that was going to happen one way or another. It's kind of interesting. We haven't heard a peep out of The Undertaker since he's come back. Not one word. It's just he comes in, he chokeslammed Roman, he chokeslammed Braun Strowman like nothing last night. There was some stuff on the show last night that I really enjoyed. You guys heard at the beginning of the show the Triple H promo, which was freaking off the charts in the ring with Michael Cole. I thought it was very disrespectful for the Brooklyn crowd to do "We are awesome" and "We want Paige" chants towards Bayley and Nia Jax, who were trying to bust their ass in the ring for them, and they actually put on a good match. By the way, I'm not going to talk about the Paige stuff on this podcast. I'm really not in the mood to talk about that stuff. If you guys want my thoughts there, you guys can go on the Pipe Bomb and listen to it, because I'm not going to talk about it today. I'm not. This poor girl's gone through enough. I already seen the comments that's going on from her family that they feel really concerned about her, and I'm not talking about it. No, I can't. I told Brother Carter that I was going to do it today, but I can't. I just can't stomach talking about this stuff. And I feel really bad for her. I really do. I really do. No woman should be treated like that on social media. That's just freaking ridiculous. I don't care if it's her personal information that you decide to hack and leak her stuff out there. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But other good stuff in the show. I really enjoyed the highlight reel with Chris Jericho yesterday. Kevin Owens continues to whoop up Chris Jericho before their match at WrestleMania. I would expect that Chris Jericho would get a little comeuppance on Owens next week. I think Jericho would get the advantage of him next week, which doesn't bother me. That's fine. It is what it is. Also, Mick Foley's fired, at least for now. I expect for him to come back next week. But anyways, you know what? I was going to say this really quick before we head out. The Raw brand, they got their stuff all set and ready to go for WrestleMania. Now the Fatal 4-Way for the women is set. We got Roman and Taker. We got Triple H and Rollins, Brock Goldberg, the tag title match, which is going to be good too. The Cruiserweight match, Austin Aries and Neville, that's going to be freaking awesome. I thought Austin Aries had a really good match with Tony Nese last night. It was very, very entertaining. Even Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe did a very good job in their match too last night. So we'll see what happens with those two at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure they'll make that announcement next week. And that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on Raw. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great or anything like that. We'll see what happens next week. It's kind of better off to have the guy named Justin LaBar who does podcasts, Chair Shot Reality, says this a lot. Usually the week before the go-home show is the toughest show to do, and I think with those circumstances, I thought they did a good job with that. I didn't think it was going to be the best show on the lead up to WrestleMania, but you get that with every year of WrestleMania, so I'm not sweating it. I'm excited for the matches this year. I'm really excited to be at the show this year, so next week it's going to go off with a banger. They got a Raw in Philly. Hopefully the Philly crowd is not as much of NIMRODS like the ones in Brooklyn. The CM Punk chants are coming to bite me in the ass because I did that rant a couple weeks ago. And it gets louder and louder and louder. For what reason, I don't know why. Thank you, Rock. Thank you for bringing them up again. Oh, man. Anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out this week's Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, the loyal supporter of this podcast. As always, our audio clips are owned by the WWE and other professional wrestling companies to enhance our presentation of our podcast and to entertain you guys and give you actual audio evidence of why we have our opinions on this particular show. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy SmackDown Live tonight. I'll be covering SmackDown Live and 205 Live tonight for for WrestleZone.com. You can check out that article as well. Make sure to support the good brother Derrico at Derrico06. That's Derek Stoughton, Brother Carter, the obsolete mule. And also you can support the good brother Matt McCool or Mitchell McMule at Twitter at McCool NAI. We're on Twitter at the Pie Bomb NAI on Twitter as well. Make sure to support the Pie Bomb with McCool Company and New Age Insiders Network. I'll be back this week on Friday, which is going to be a lot of fun as always. And we'll be back here for this podcast on Saturday. We're going to do a WrestleMania retrospective podcast. So thank you guys so much for the support. If you want to get all previous editions of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, go to youtube.com, type in Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. You'll find it in the search engine, and it links you to my channel. You can subscribe and get all the previous episodes. You can check out my previous interviews I did back in the Pro Wrestling Experience days. And that's pretty much it. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm at Twitter and Instagram at NotoriousJoshy. And you follow me, I'll follow you back, and just let me know that you are a loyal supporter of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Thank you guys. I love you guys. We'll be back here for episode 48 on Saturday. Next week will be episode 49. And then, very fitting, next week, the week after WrestleMania, the next show at the WrestleMania will be our 50th episode. Very fitting. It's been a fun ride, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for the support. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you all on Saturday. Peace.